Can't see my speech now. Good evening, everyone. As you know, we are gathered here today to honor a very special person by the name of Helen Skipper. The title Citizen of the Year is not one to be taken lightly. Helen has been involved in the Jakcson community for many years and a friend to many people. I first came to know Helen when we served together on the Salvation Army Board. Helen was a key player in conjunction with several others such as Mayor Paul South and Circuit Clerk Summer Scruggs. They were instrumental in ensuring the success of our campaign. Our largest fundraiser each year was the bell ringing campaign. Helen tirelessly worked to secure volunteers to ensure the campaign's success. As many of you know, her civic involvement is not limited to the Salvation Army Board. After seeing how successful our Salvation Army projects always were, due to Helen being so organized and detailed and all that she does, we found ourselves together working again on another project, the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. There she successfully helped spearhead the yearly campaign to ensure needy children would not go without Christmas presents. But her involvement with the Police Alumni Association did not end just there so easily. She was responsible for spearheading several successful drug take-back programs, which ensured such medications were not so easily accessible on the streets. Helen is also active on the DHR QA committee, responsible for assuring compliance with state regulations for the health and safety of children. She is also an active member of the Women's Club, the Alabama Alumni Association, and the First United Methodist Church of Jakcson. Now I would like to tell you what Helen has meant to me personally. True leaders make more leaders. And because of this, I can credit Helen Skipper for being one of the parties responsible for giving me the skills necessary to become the executive director at the ARC of Alabama. I can also credit Helen with helping me develop the skills and confidence necessary to take on a leadership position for Rotary District 6880. In a special way, Helen's work is being done beyond the city of Jakcson. As I look around this room, I see so many people who have been touched by her, who have been inspired by her. She has been an inspiration for me, tireless, dedicated, and always so humble. Someone always thinking of others and for this community. I am proud to have worked with her, to have learned from her, and to be able to emulate her as much as possible. And so proud she has been recognized as the Citizen of the Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Our next speaker will be Ms. Ann Scoggin.
So let's see how this is going to work. Maybe down a little bit. I don't know. You may have to help. You may have to fix it.
I'll just hold it.
Okay. All right, great. Good evening, everyone. I'll try to pull out my school teacher voice if I can. I'm delighted to have a few minutes here tonight to pay tribute to Jakcson Citizen of the Year, my dear friend, Helen Skipper. Helen has a long history of service to the people of Jakcson, and tonight's a great celebration to honor her for that service. Back in 1972, after graduating from high school, Helen Robertson Hesse decided that she would really spread her wings and leave the comforts of her home in Severna Park, Maryland, and head to Tuscaloosa to attend college at the University of Alabama. For the record, this is a distance of approximately 850 miles, or about 15 hours away from home. Wow. Think about what a bold move that was to make at such a young age. Now, it's no surprise to most of you here tonight that Helen and I share a love of all things University of Alabama. Roll Tide. Yes, we're extremely proud of our football team and all of our athletics, and yes, you will catch us cheering on the Tide at all the home football games and other sporting events. In fact, Helen is known to have her own personal Bama parade daily, and if you've seen the Bama flags flying on her car 365 days a year, you know what I mean. So as I said before, in addition to our athletic pride is the fondness and deep-rooted love and respect we share for everything about the University of Alabama. But there's one very special thing, above all others, that we have in common when it comes to the university. And that is, had it not been for our time there, chances are neither would have ever landed in Jakcson, Alabama. Like me, little did she know, she would meet her future husband while in school at the university, and as the saying goes, receive her BS and her MRS, and begin the rest of her life in a place that neither of us had ever heard of before we met our fellas. Yes, as most of you know, Helen's a transplant to the city of Jakcson, but now her roots couldn't be deeper in a place that she may never have known had it not been the path that began at the university. Helen will tell you, and I couldn't agree more, that some of the absolute greatest years of her life were those at the university. Consequently, her desire for others to experience life at the capstone is immense. In her quest to try and replicate the glory years at the university, for Clark County students, Helen's been an integral part of the local chapter of the University of Alabama National Alumni Association for many, many years. She's served as our student recruiter for the chapter and on the scholarship committee, helping to pave the way for Clark County students to attend the university. I don't think we've ever had a local chapter event that she wasn't a part of in some way, whether helping to just organize it or decorate. And by the way, she's got more Bama paraphernalia than the soup store. Or just making sure we have her party mix to eat. Raise your hand if you've ever had Helen's party mix. Just look around. It's legendary. When I moved here in 1982, Helen was one of the first people I met. She immediately made this transplant feel at home and helped me to get involved in being a part of Jakcson by introducing me to the people here and the opportunities to be involved. The fact that she was mom to precious Courtney and Jonathan and married to JoJo, icing on the cake. As with all the many contributions Helen has made for the benefit of Jakcson, so much of it she's done behind the scenes. Whether a big role or a small one, Helen sees the value and importance in them all. In fact, I was thinking about the many contributions she's made over the years as just a volunteer, not as an officer or a chairperson or even part of an appointed committee or club or organization, which she's done so many times, but strictly in a volunteer capacity. Some of them may be smaller, but no less important roles. Among them are American Heart Fund, Health Fair, Youth Council Board, American Cancer Society, Social Studies Fair, Cystic Fibrosis Bike-a-thon, Jakcson Middle and Jakcson High School Parent Volunteer, and the list goes on and on. I chose to point out those particular types of volunteer roles that Helen's been a part of because I think that this is where you see her true dedication to a cause, to helping others, to being willing to do the work. Helen doesn't have to do any of the many things that she does. She doesn't have to volunteer. The fact that she chooses to do all the volunteer activities that she does speaks volumes about her. I read recently that to be a volunteer, it takes generosity, a willingness to give your time to others, understanding because their lives may be very different from your own, empathy, an ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they must feel, compassion, to truly care about making someone else's life better, patience, because the process doesn't always go as smoothly as it might, and dedication, to stick with a project and see it through. And I just want to add, the ability to organize your time effectively. Everyone here should see a page of Helen's calendar and planner. It's amazing. Even Helen's closest friends don't really realize the extent of her many acts of community service. She doesn't talk about all the volunteer work that she does. We do know that she stays extremely busy, but we don't know the extent of it all because in true Helen fashion, she just gets down to work, gets it done, checks it off the list, and moves on to the next thing. And she does it without any fanfare. We also know that Helen prefers to be the worker bee. which is fitting for Helen because if you research bees, you'll find that in the definition of worker bees do all the work necessary to help a colony survive and thrive. Without a doubt, in all of the roles that Helen has played in all of her service to the city of Jakcson and the people here have definitely helped Jakcson survive and thrive. So congratulations, my dear friend, and yes, you do deserve this. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Ann, I know you want to leave me this University of Alabama alumni folder, but thank you very much. We appreciate those remarks. We have a little change to the program. Those of you who are members of my church, First United Methodist Church, know that our saying at the church is the bulletin is only a suggestion of what we might do on Sunday morning. So it's natural that we have to have a change here. I'd like to acknowledge at this time Mrs. Courtney Reeves and Lily, if you would like to come up.
I want to say that I am so proud of my fams for getting Citizen of the Year, but lots of times she cannot keep me or cook dinner for me or come see me play ball because she does all of this free stuff. But I still love my fams.
We get hung all the time.
But yeah, I'm still too short. How are y'all? Thank you so much for coming, by the way. First, I want to say, Mom, I'm proud of you. You do a lot. And even Jonathan and I were talking the other day. We really did not even know how much you did until we read the newspaper. We were very amazed. But with that being said, I was told today that I needed to speak, which today, it's kind of quick. But we received a letter in the mail. I guess you all know that my mom's from Maryland now. Her mother was not able to make it tonight, so her mother sent a letter for me to read. And it goes like this. Oh, she had to overnight it and send it to the office. Well, I don't know. I think it came to the house. Thank the Lord Mom didn't open it. All right, so it goes like this. I am Elizabeth Hesse, mother of Helen Hesse Skipper. I had the good sense to choose a good husband and the pleasure to raise a child who always made us proud. I do wish her father and I could be there tonight. Robertson and I tried very hard to teach Helen integrity, honesty, kindness, and to do the right thing, and also to be civic-minded. It seems some of that has happened. Helen brought us a great deal of joy and happiness. I thank the Rotary Club for bestowing this honor on Helen. We are so proud of her. And she puts, kudos to you.
We didn't know she knew that word.
Our darling, kudos to you, our darling Helen. Keep up the good work. Love, Mom.
Thank you, Courtney and Lily. Next, I'd like to introduce friend, parishioner, and fellow Rotarian, Mr. Joe Skipper. Oh, and former Citizen of the Year.
You really got to hold this thing.
Yeah, you got to hold it.
Let's put this together. Tim. Where's Tim? Nah, that's good. Well, Helen has agonized, number one, over writing her speech for tonight, and agonized over what I may say or do. Just a couple of minutes ago, be sure you speak clearly, don't mumble like your daddy and your brother and other members of your family. So, am I coming out all right now? I just heard I was going to get killed. This is I was going to say some of this other stuff, but y'all have already said it, so I'm going to go a different direction. All right. I'm going to entitle this Little Known or Forgotten Things About Helen. We talked about when she was at the University of Alabama. She'd been there 2 days. I've been there 1 day. I needed a date. So I called a friend of mine. She said, this cute little girl's in the room right next to me. You need to go see. Came back to the phone and said, yeah, what time you want to pick her up? At 6 o'clock. Have her ready. That's how we met. And we dated for a long time, and then we got mad at each other, and neither one of us know what it was, even though we get mad at each other now. But this was like a whole year. And I'm probably going to get in trouble about this. Don't listen, Lily. We'd be on our bikes going across the quad or whatever, and it was usually bird season. We were shooting birds. Anyway, as it turned out, we did end up being together. And y'all talked about her list. I wake up every morning to a list. Now, grant you, I'm not very observant, and sometimes it'll be on the bathroom mirror. It could be on the back door. It could be on the refrigerator, or just taped everywhere here and there. And I'll get some of those lists are quite lengthy. And maybe like 10 o'clock, she'll say, how far down are you on your list? Come on, Helen, give me a break. So anyway, but there's things like the swim team. And you see the lanes down there, and we put together a board out front. That was Helen's idea. My idea was we got swimming lessons, we got diving lessons, we got tennis lessons, we got golf. What do we need a swim team for? She said, well, you don't understand. I grew up on the river, and every community competed against each community all summer long in the swim teams. And I said, okay. So we go to the library. We didn't have internet. Figured out how long they were going to be and how wide and all that stuff. Went back to the committee, and they said, yeah, let's try it. So nobody knew anything about it. So she ended up coaching the first year with who was helping you? Kim, Peavy, Bailey. And they did a great job. But the only problem is they started going around all these towns, Bruton, Mobile. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with it. But finally, somehow, they got it done. And I was thinking in my mind, that's just another weekend we got to go every weekend. You know, I think one time I went to 153 events between Jonathan and Courtney. And I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. But the crazy thing is, they came here and they loved this so much, they wanted to come here. They didn't want to go stay in Bruton Aquatic Center, even Orange Beach. But anyway, it's a great success. It's been a great success, and I give her a lot of credit for that. And it's still going strong today. Then she started doing something every Wednesday. Sorry, Jonathan. he gets to be a junior at Jakcson High School. Guess who's in the office every Wednesday? I think she was up there just to make sure you were doing right. I really do, because, and it didn't take long for all the kids there to realize they got in trouble. They don't want to go to the office on Wednesday, because that means Miss Skipper's up there and she will give them the devil. And one of her duties were, if somebody was absent from school, she would call her grandmother or auntie or whoever trying to figure out where they are. And she would stay on until she found out. So 2 things happened on Wednesday. Everybody behaved very nicely. Nobody wanted to skip school on Wednesday because they knew that she would find out about it. Another thing, if you left the school, you had to get permission. So she wasn't working on, this wasn't a Wednesday, on a Thursday. She's coming up the highway, and there Jonathan is in his truck. She said, what is he doing out of school? They didn't call me. So she called up the school and said, y'all didn't call me. What's Jonathan doing? She said, well, we thought it would be all right, Helen. So you never know. But anyhow, that's about half of what I really want to say. But I'm proud of her. And, I did find this out. There's only been 3 couples since 1950 that both got this wonderful award. The first couple was Koo and Lamar McLeod. The second one was Helen and Billy Guy, and now Helen and I. So I'm proud of that for her. Oh, I'm not through. Oh, this is going to be good. Am I mumbling yet? Y'all hear me? Oh. This is entitled Helen. I'm going to end this on a poetic note. They say good things come in small packages. And our family knows this to be true. For the lady in charge of our family stands a whopping 5'2". From Maryland, Helen came to Alabama, changed her religion to Crimson Tide. Sorry. At Bama, she met me, Joe Skipper, and after college became my bride. Our family calls her the clock lady. She knows not the meaning of late. So if you're supposed to go with her, don't even think about making her wait. I've done that before. It's not good. And I'm having a hard time reading this. You can tell. About her ears, we may tease her, but her children, I can't do this. No. About her ears, we may tease her, but the children many times have said, don't let that one trait distract you, for she has eyes in the back of her head. She's busy, she's helpful, she's orderly. She's compassionate, committed, true blue. And if you're willing to let her, she can organize her stuff and yours too. That happens a lot too. Her heart is bigger than Bryant Denny. Where help is needed, she's there. She visits the sick and the elderly, takes food and shows them she cares. She keeps Hallmark cards and business, remember birthdays and all important dates. If you call her, she'll drop what she's doing. No need is ever too late. Has anybody ever gotten a card from Helen? Yep. She logs hours of community service, finds time for family and friends. Nick Saban should have her on speed dial, because her Roll Tide spirit never ends. So tonight we celebrate Helen Skipper. She loves her town and all that live here. Congratulations to my wife, a daughter, a mother, and a grandmother. You're Jackson's Citizen of the Year.
like to now recognize the Honorable Paul South, Mayor of the City of Jakcson.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? I'm not going to fight this thing. We might need to get it. Can you, everybody hear me? This is what I'd like to say to Helen. I want to thank you for volunteering. And it does. It's a passion to volunteer, to give yourself to somebody else. And Sheriff, isn't there a reason that if she don't feed her grandchild, didn't you say she didn't cook you supper or dinner? Yeah. Shame on you, Helen. And when I know that she's really passionate about what she does, because during Christmas, my wife and Miss Helen, they pack toys for the children around the county that don't have much. It's a police thing, and they're all police academy affiliations, and they tote weapons. But they work a lot of hours. We keep it in a building, and they do a lot of fuss, but they put it together, and on Christmas Eve they deliver. But she does do a lot of things around Jakcson, and she's a great citizen. And Maryland, that's where you're from? Yeah, guess where she is now. So she's got a lovely family, a great husband, and I could see where you have to line him up some. So it's a great honor for the city of Jakcson. And by the way, I want to thank the Rotary for putting this together. Y'all always do a great job. To present Miss Helen Skipper, the 2017 Citizen of the Year. Helen? There's one other thing I want Helen to tell you what I tell her every time I see her. There's two words I always say. Now, I know you Auburn folks, bless your heart, you're just going to have to listen to this. But what I tell her?
Roll Tide.
She's got the floor.
Nobody's going to have to hold this thing because I can reach. I'm not going to be able to read.
Can't read.
You want to go down?
You want to hold it?
I can hold it.
Okay.
Sorry.
There you go.
Well, good evening. This is going to be short and sweet, mainly because they said some things in their speeches that I was supposed to say. So you might hear something twice. I want to thank the Citizen of the Year Committee. I want to thank the President and the Rotary Club. I also want to thank my parents, my dad, the late Robertson Hesse, and my mom, Elizabeth Hesse, for their love and their confidence they instilled in me to always do my best. And to the late George and Elizabeth Skipper for taking me under their wings from the time we met. To the Skipper, McLeod, and Carmichael family members that are here, thank you. A big thank you to my extended family and friends. And of course, Joe, Cal, Courtney, Jonathan, Stevie, and my precious grandchildren, Lily, Bella, and Nate. They have endured my volunteering for many years. I've said, no, I can't do lunch. No, I won't be cooking dinner. And last but not least, no, I'm sorry I can't come to your game. So, there it is. Since Joe and I married in 1976, I've had one paying job. I was a first grade teacher at Gilmore for 2 years. So for just a few minutes, I want everyone to think back, way back for some of us. When you were in first grade, I'm sure you remember who your teacher was. So for just a minute, I'm your teacher. Good evening, class. Tonight, we are going to talk about the word volunteer. Webster's dictionary definition is a person who enters into or offers themselves for any service of their own free will. As we grow up, always remember, a volunteer is not a one-person effort. It's many people giving of their time. Now, years have gone by. We are all adults, parents, grandparents, and even some great-grandparents. This room is full of people that in some form or another have volunteered, and many of which I have served on either boards, committees, or even an organization. This includes the 3 other nominees. I don't think Fortune Sheffield is here this evening, Bill Pierce and Wayne Latham, who have all volunteered for at least as much as I have, if not more. In closing, I want everyone to know just how passionate I am about my volunteer work and happy to remain behind the scene. I promise to continue what I have been doing behind the scene to make Jakcson the best place to live. I am honored to accept this award from a town with people that embraced me over 41 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, for those remarks. And I'm pleased that you also recognized those other volunteers, those other persons who put service above self, who were nominated this year for the Citizen of the Year Award. It's been such an honor to serve with Joe in Rotary and to serve as your parishioner at First United. For you to be my parishioner, whatever it is, I'm sorry, to be your pastor at First United Methodist Church. See, a lot of people were touched by what you had to say, Helen.